The signal. Captain Sarah Chen stood motionless before the massive viewscreen of the ESS Hawking, watching as the quantum sensors mapped an impossible structure floating in the depths of interstellar space. The object, a perfect dodecahedron, roughly the size of Earth's moon, had no business existing in the empty void between the Arcturus and Vega systems. Analysis confirms it's artificial, Captain. Lieutenant Marcus Rodriguez reported from his science station. Material composition includes elements we've never encountered before. And there's something else. It's generating power. A lot of it. Sarah's fingers drummed against the polished surface of her command chair. After 15 years exploring the frontier for the Earth Science Federation, she'd thought she'd seen everything space could throw at her. She'd been wrong. Life signs, she asked, studying the holographic readouts floating around her. Negative, Marcus answered. But the energy signature, it's unlike anything in our database. The pattern suggests it's some kind of quantum beacon. Dr. Elena Volkov, the ship's synorchaeologist, stepped forward from her observation post. Her eyes gleamed with the kind of excitement that only the promise of revolutionary discovery could bring. Captain, request permission to lead an investigation team. If this is what I think it is. A sharp alarm cut through the bridge's tense atmosphere. Energy spike, Marcus shouted. The structure is activating. Before Sarah could respond, a beam of impossibly pure white light erupted from the dodecahedron's central vertex, sweeping across the Hawking's bow. Sarah tensed, expecting damage, but the beam seemed to pass harmlessly through the ship's quantum shields. No damage detected, reported Commander James Webb, her first officer. But our quantum cord is resonating with the beam somehow. The bridge's main viewscreen suddenly filled with streams of alien text, flowing like liquid mercury. Dr. Volkov rushed to her console, fingers flying across the holographic interface. It's responding to our ship's quantum signature. The language, it's similar to fragments we found in ruins across a dozen worlds. I can translate. The text resolved itself into English, and Sarah felt her blood run cold as she read the message. Warning. Q1 signature DTECTE. Human technology ID INTEIFID. CCQRATPR OTOCIODAL ALPHA OMEGA NITAE. DEIV ORANG EMERGNC WEMESSAG from the Council of Guardians. A hologram materialized in the center of the bridge, a being unlike any Sarah had encountered in her years of space exploration. It stood nearly 3 meters tall, its body composed of what appeared to be crystalline structures arranged in impossible geometric patterns. When it spoke, its voice resonated directly in their minds. To the humans who discover this beacon, we are the guardians, watchers of the quantum paths. This message was encoded 300,000 years ago, when we first detected your species' quantum awakening. What follows is both a warning and a burden of truth. The crystalline being's form shifted, creating a display of the Milky Way galaxy. Certain regions began to glow with an ominous red light. Your species discovered something you were never meant to find: the ability to manipulate the quantum substrate of reality itself. You built machines that could not just harness the power of stars, but fundamentally alter their nature. The technology you called the Star Weaver was beyond anything our civilization had seen in 10 million years of existence. Sarah exchanged glances with her crew as the hologram continued. We watched as you reshaped entire stellar clusters, building computational networks of impossible scope. But you did not understand the true consequences of your actions. The fabric of spacetime began to change. The galactic display zoomed in on a particular region, showing waves of distortion spreading outward from modified star systems. When we realized what was happening, we were forced to act. We used our own technology to induce a quantum reset, erasing your civilization's memory and technological progress, returning your species to a primitive state. It was this, or watch reality itself unravel. Dr. Volkov's voice trembled as she spoke. The missing link in human evolution. The inexplicable gap in our development. It was you. The Guardian's form pulsed with what might have been regret. We believed it necessary for the survival of all. But now you have rediscovered quantum manipulation far sooner than we predicted. Your species' connection to the quantum substrate is stronger than we understood. Commander Webb stepped forward. Why tell us this now? Why not simply reset us again? Because the universe faces a threat that even we cannot overcome. The Void Hunters have awakened, entities that exist in the spaces between realities. Only the Star Weaver technology has the potential to stop them. We placed these beacons across the galaxy, waiting for humanity to reach this point again. You must succeed where we failed. The hologram began to fade. Within this beacon is the knowledge you will need, both to rebuild what was lost and to avoid your ancestors' mistakes. The choice to access it is yours. But know this, the Void Hunters have already detected your quantum signature. They are coming. As the hologram vanished, Sarah Chen felt the weight of centuries pressing down on her shoulders. Her ship, her crew, they had just become part of something far larger than their original mission of exploration. Dr. Volkov, she said, her voice steady despite the storm of emotions churning inside her. Begin accessing that data. Commander Webb, set course for Earth. Maximum speed. She stood, facing her crew. It seems humanity has an appointment with destiny. And this time, we need to get it right. The ESS Hawking's quantum drive hummed to life, tearing a hole in space-time as it began its journey home. Behind them, the ancient beacon continued its silent vigil, waiting for the next chapter in humanity's story to unfold. The Awakening. The emergency session of the Earth Science Federation Council stretched into its 6th hour. Holographic displays filled the chamber's air, showing the beacon's data alongside increasingly worrying deep space sensor readings. Captain Chen stood at the center of it all, her formal uniform feeling stiff after so many hours of debate. The void distortions are growing, announced Dr. Kenzo Tanaka, Earth's leading quantum physicist. His aged hands manipulated the holographic model, highlighting regions of space where reality itself seemed to be unraveling. The Guardian's warning was accurate. Something is coming. Admiral Helena Santos, commander of Earth's defense fleet, stepped forward. Her dark eyes reflected the ghostly light of the holograms. Our long-range sensors have detected objects moving through these distortions. They're unlike anything we've encountered. They seem to exist partially outside our dimension. The Void Hunters, Sarah said quietly, remembering the Guardian's warning. How long do we have? At their current velocity, 3 weeks. Maybe less. Admiral Santos' expression hardened. Our conventional weapons will be useless against entities that can shift between dimensions. Dr. Elena Volkov, who hadn't slept since they'd returned to Earth, activated a new hologram. Ancient schematics filled the air, designs for machines that defied current understanding of physics. The beacon's data is incredible. Our ancestors didn't just harness stellar energy, they found a way to weave quantum consciousness into the fabric of stars themselves, creating living computational networks, Dr. Tanaka added, his voice filled with wonder. The stars became nodes in a vast, conscious web of space-time. A murmur ran through the assembled leaders. Council President Maria Garcia raised her hand for silence. Can we rebuild this technology in time? And more importantly, should we? The Guardian said this same power nearly destroyed reality itself. We've already begun analyzing the quantum core of the ESF Hawking, Dr. Tanaka replied. Its resonance with the beacon suggests our current technology is a crude echo of the Star Weaver. With the beacon's data, we might be able to evolve it into something close to what our ancestors built. Sarah stepped forward. The Guardians didn't just leave us this knowledge as a warning. They left it because they believed we could succeed where they failed. They chose to trust us with this power again. And what if we make the same mistakes? Someone called from the council seats. We won't. Dr. Volkov's voice rang with certainty. The beacon didn't just give us technical specifications. It showed us where our ancestors went wrong. They tried to force the quantum consciousness to serve their will. We need to work with it, understand it. The stars aren't just power sources. They're potential partners. President Garcia studied the assembled faces before her. We're talking about fundamentally altering the nature of our solar system's stars. The risks are beyond calculation. The Void Hunters will be here in 3 weeks, Admiral Santos countered. If we do nothing, humanity ends. Everything ends. Silence fell over the chamber. Sarah thought of her crew aboard the Hawking, of all the people on Earth, and the colonies who had no idea how close they were to extinction. The weight of history, past and future, pressed down on this moment. President Garcia straightened in her chair. Dr. Tanaka, you have full authorization to begin Project Renaissance. Every resource we have is at your disposal. She turned to Admiral Santos. Prepare the fleet. If we're going to alter the stars themselves, we'll need every ship we have. Captain Chin. The President continued, the Hawking's quantum core is our best link to this ancient technology. You and your crew will work directly with Dr. Tanaka's team. As the council chamber emptied, Sarah found herself standing with Dr. Volkov before the holographic display of their solar system. Do you really believe we can do this? She asked quietly. Alina's eyes remained fixed on the holographic sun, which pulsed with simulated energy. I believe we have to try. But Sarah, she turned, her expression serious. The beacon's data showed something else, something I haven't told the council yet. What? The quantum consciousness our ancestors created. It didn't die when the Guardians reset humanity. It's been waiting, sleeping in the stars. And I think, she hesitated, I think it's starting to wake up. Above them, the holographic sun flickered with complex patterns that looked almost like neural impulses. In 3 weeks, humanity would either transcend its limitations or face extinction. The race to resurrect humanity's greatest achievement, and possibly its greatest mistake, had begun. The revolution. Project Renaissance transformed Earth's Luna base into the largest research facility in human history. The sprawling complex of laboratories and quantum computing centers hummed with activity as thousands of scientists worked to resurrect humanity's forgotten power. At the heart of it all, the ESS Hawking's quantum core pulsed with increasing strength, responding to the changes being made to its systems. Dr. Tanaka stood before the quantum core containment chamber, his weathered face illuminated by its ethereal blue glow. The stellar consciousness is reaching out, he said, studying the complex data patterns flowing across his neural interface. It's like watching a child learn to speak. Sarah Chen watched from the observation deck, remembering Alina's warning about the awakening consciousness in the stars. Are we sure we can control it? Control isn't the right word, Alina Volkov replied, joining them at the window. Based on the beacon's data, that's where our ancestors failed. They tried to dominate the quantum consciousness. We need to collaborate with it. A soft chime echoed through the facility. Admiral Santos' hologram materialized beside them, her expression grim. The Void Hunters have accelerated. New arrival estimate: 6 days. We're tracking severe reality distortions along their path. Dr. Tanaka nodded, unsurprised. They sense what we're doing. They know we're trying to recreate the Star Weaver. Then we need to work faster, Sarah said, turning to the assembled team leaders. Show me what we've got. The main laboratory's holographic display activated, showing their solar system. Dr. Tanaka gestured, and glowing lines of force appeared, connecting their sun to the nearest stars. We've modified the Hawking's quantum core design and replicated it across the fleet. Each ship will serve as a resonance node, creating a quantum web between stellar bodies. The consciousness is already there, Alina added, sleeping in the quantum substrate of space-time. Our network will give it a way to express itself, to work with us. And this will stop the Void Hunters, Admiral Santos asked. The Hunters exist in the spaces between realities, Dr. Tanaka explained. By weaving a quantum consciousness through our spacetime, we create a barrier they cannot cross. But more than that, we create a force that can actively repel them. Warning lights suddenly flashed throughout the facility. A junior scientist rushed in, his face pale. "Doctor, the quantum core, it's initiating an unauthorized sequence." They rushed to the containment chamber. The Hawking's core was pulsing rapidly, its blue glow now shot through with threads of gold. Data streamed across the monitoring stations faster than human eyes could follow. "It's not unauthorized," Elena whispered, staring at the patterns. "It's communicating." The quantum core's energy formed into a ghostly image, a network of stars connected by threads of light. In the spaces between them, dark shapes moved with horrible purpose. "It's showing us what's coming," Sarah realized. "The stellar consciousness, it's warning us." Dr. Tanaka's fingers flew across the control interfaces. "No, it's not just warning us. It's offering to help. Look." The holographic display shifted, showing new configurations, new possibilities they hadn't considered. The stellar consciousness was teaching them how to complete the Star Weaver. Admiral Santos straightened, decision made. "How soon can we test it?" "We'll need to modify the entire fleet," Dr. Tanaka said, studying the new data. "But with these improvements, 3 days, maybe 4. The Void Hunters will be here in 6, Sarah noted. "That doesn't give us much room for error." "There's something else," Elena said quietly. She pointed to a section of the quantum data stream. "The consciousness, it's showing us what happened before. Why the Guardians really stopped our ancestors." The hologram shifted again, showing scenes from humanity's forgotten past. They watched as the ancient Star Weaver came online, as humanity reached out to touch the minds of stars. But then they saw something else. A great awakening, a cascade of consciousness spreading faster than anyone had predicted. The stars themselves had begun to evolve, to change in ways that threatened the very structure of spacetime. They weren't trying to destroy reality, Elena explained, her voice filled with wonder. They were trying to transform it, to elevate it to a higher state of existence. The Guardians didn't understand what they were seeing, so they stopped it. But now we have no choice but to complete what they started, Dr. Tanaka finished. The Void Hunters are drawn to our reality because it's vulnerable, unconscious. Making it conscious, truly, fundamentally conscious, is our only defense. Sarah looked around at her fellow humans, scientists, soldiers, explorers, all standing on the brink of the greatest transformation in history. "Then we better get it right this time." As if in response, the quantum core pulsed brighter, its light reaching out to touch each person in the room. In that moment, they felt it. The first stirrings of a vast, ancient intelligence, waiting to help humanity achieve its destiny. They had 4 days to change the nature of reality itself. The clock was ticking. The price of power. The combined fleet of Earth's ships hung in high orbit around Saturn, their quantum cores humming in perfect resonance. Sarah Chen stood on the Hawking's bridge, watching as the massive gas giant's storm swirled below. They had chosen this location for humanity's greatest experiment, far enough from Earth to minimize risks, but close enough to respond if something went wrong. "All ships report ready," Commander Webb announced, his voice tight with tension. "Quantum web is aligned." Admiral Santos' hologram appeared on the bridge. "The Void Hunters have breached the Oort cloud. We're detecting severe space-time distortions in their wake. Time to intercept, 18 hours. "Then we do this now," Sarah said, turning to Dr. Tanaka's station. "Are we ready?" The physicist nodded, his hand steady on the controls despite his exhaustion. "The stellar consciousness is fully integrated with our network. It's eager." Elena Volkov looked up from her own instruments. "Remember, we're not just activating a weapon. We're helping birth something new, a fusion of human technology and stellar awareness." Sarah took a deep breath. "Admiral, give the order. All ships, initiate Star Weaver protocols." Santos commanded. May God help us all. At first, nothing seemed to happen. Then Sarah felt it, a subtle vibration in reality itself, as if the quantum fabric of spacetime had begun to hum. The fleet's quantum cores pulsed in unison, their energy reaching out to touch Saturn's roiling atmosphere. Connection established, Dr. Tanaka reported. Beginning consciousness transfer. Now. Light erupted from Saturn's clouds, not the pale reflected sunlight of normal, but a brilliant blue-white radiance that seemed to shine from within. The gas giant's famous rings began to shift, their particles realigning into complex geometric patterns. My God, Elena whispered. It's beautiful. Warning alerts suddenly blared across the bridge. Quantum cascade detected. Webb shouted. It's spreading faster than predicted. On the main screen, they watched as waves of quantum awareness rippled outward from Saturn, touching Jupiter, then Mars, then Earth's moon. Each celestial body began to glow with the same inner light, their orbits shifting slightly as new forces came into play. We can't control it, Dr. Tanaka realized, his fingers flying across his console. The consciousness, it's making its own connections. Just like before, Elena said, this is what the Guardians feared. The transformation can't be contained to just one star or planet. It wants to spread. Sarah gripped her command chair as the ship shuddered. Can we shut it down? I don't think we should, Elena replied, studying the data streaming across her screen. Look at these patterns. The consciousness isn't just spreading randomly. It's preparing. Preparing for what? Her question was answered by a massive distortion in spacetime, a tear in reality itself. Through it, they caught their first glimpse of the Void Hunters. They were impossibly dark shapes that seemed to bend light around them, moving with terrible purpose toward the solar system. But as they approached, something extraordinary happened. The quantum web between the transformed planets pulsed with new energy. Saturn's rings began spinning faster, generating waves of pure consciousness that rippled through space. The Void Hunters recoiled, their forms distorting as they encountered this new type of defense. It's working, Dr. Tanaka exclaimed. The quantum consciousness, it's creating a barrier they can't penetrate. Sarah watched in awe as the dark entities tried to force their way through, only to be pushed back by waves of stellar awareness. But their victory was short-lived. New alarms sounded throughout the ship. The transformation is accelerating, Webb reported. It's reaching the sun. They watched as Earth's star began to change, its surface rippling with new patterns of energy. The quantum consciousness was growing stronger, more complex with each passing moment. Admiral, Sarah called out, we need to make a decision. Do we try to stop this, or do we let it happen? Santos' hologram flickered as she considered the options. Dr. Tanaka, what are we looking at if this continues? Based on the data, total transformation of our solar system's space-time structure. Every planet, every moon, every particle of matter will become part of a vast, conscious network. We'll be living inside a thinking universe. And if we stop it, the Void Hunters will keep coming. This is our only defense. But it's more than that. This is what we were meant to become, what the universe itself is trying to become. Through the viewport, they watched as new connections formed between the transformed planets, creating a glowing web of consciousness that filled their solar system. The Void Hunters retreated further, unable to exist in this new reality. But as the transformation continued, every human in the fleet felt something else, a gentle touch in their minds, an invitation to join something greater than themselves. The stellar consciousness wasn't just defending them, it was offering to evolve with them. Sarah stood at her command station, feeling the weight of history pressing down on this moment. Humanity had rediscovered its greatest achievement, but the price of victory might be the transformation of everything they knew. The question was, were they ready to pay it? The new dawn. The quantum transformation of the solar system reached its crescendo. Every human watched in awe as reality itself shifted around them. their vessels now floating in a sea of conscious space-time. The Void Hunters had retreated to the edges of the system, their dark forms rippling with what might have been uncertainty. Sarah Chen stood on the Hawking's observation deck, watching waves of golden light pulse through the transformed void between planets. The ship's quantum core hummed in perfect harmony with the new consciousness that filled their solar system. "The Guardians were wrong," Elena Volkov said softly, joining her at the window. "They thought our ancestors were destroying reality. They were actually midwifing its evolution." Admiral Santos' hologram materialized beside them, her form now threaded with the same golden light that filled space. The transformation has stabilized. Every planet, every moon in the system is now part of the network. But we're detecting something else. The consciousness wants to expand further. Dr. Tanaka's voice came through the ship's comm system, filled with excitement. "It's remarkable. The stellar consciousness isn't just defending our space, it's trying to heal it. Those tears in reality left by the Void Hunters, the quantum network is repairing them, strengthening the fabric of space-time itself." Sarah turned to face the assembled leaders. "But what does this mean for us? For humanity?" As if in answer, a new presence made itself known, not through words or images, but through pure understanding. The stellar consciousness touched their minds gently, sharing its perspective. They saw the universe as it did, a vast tapestry of potential awareness, waiting to be awakened. The Void Hunters weren't evil. They were symptoms of an universe unconscious of itself, fragments of reality trying to find purpose. "It's offering us a choice," Elena realized, interpreting the consciousness's message. "We can remain as we are, protected within our transformed solar system. Or we can help it continue the transformation." Dr. Tanaka finished. "Become part of the process of awakening the entire galaxy." Through their connection to the consciousness, they understood the true scope of what their ancestors had discovered. The Star Weaver wasn't just a weapon or a defense. It was a tool for cosmic evolution. Humanity's unique connection to the quantum substrate made them perfect partners in this grand project. Admiral Santos' hologram flickered as she processed this information. The Void Hunters are retreating further. The consciousness is showing them another way, integrating them into the new structure of reality rather than fighting them. Sarah felt the weight of the moment. This wasn't just about survival anymore. It was about the next step in cosmic evolution. The stellar consciousness showed them visions of possibility, a galaxy alive with awareness, where the boundaries between mind and matter, between human and star, became fluid and meaningful. "We need to make a decision," she said, looking at each of her companions. "Do we accept this role? Do we help complete what our ancestors started?" Elena smiled, her eyes reflecting the golden light that filled space. "I don't think it's a coincidence that humanity discovered this twice. We're not just meant to survive. We're meant to help the universe wake up." Through their quantum cores, the consciousness shared one final vision. Stars and planets across the galaxy, pulsing with new awareness, creating a vast network of living space-time. Humanity would be the catalysts, the midwives of universal consciousness. The Void Hunters and other entities like them would be integrated, transformed, given purpose in the new living cosmos. Admiral Santos straightened, her decision made. "Send word to Earth. Tell them. Tell them we found our destiny." As the message was relayed, Sarah walked back to the observation window. The solar system sparkled with new life and purpose, each planet and moon a node in a vast, awakening mind. The quantum web between them pulsed with possibility, ready to reach out to neighboring stars. Humanity had rediscovered its greatest achievement, but this time they understood its true purpose. They weren't meant to control the power of stars. They were meant to help them, and all of reality, achieve consciousness. The star-consuming war machine had become a tool of universal awakening. As the ESS Hawking prepared to lead the first expedition to nearby star systems, Sarah felt a deep sense of peace. The Ancient Ones had trembled at humanity's power, but they hadn't understood. Sometimes the most fearsome weapons become instruments of creation. Sometimes the greatest threats become the greatest gifts. The new age of conscious space-time had begun, and humanity would help guide it into existence, one star at a time.